Live, I believe. So let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's see. We got everybody tuning in the next couple of minutes here. Mic's good. Camera is good. All right. All right. All right. We are officially live, my bro. What's going on, guys? We're gonna start seeing everybody flood in here in just a second. But super excited to kick off another week of trading here as we wrap up February. We got Omar in the chat, Lisa. Let's go, Francois. Let's get it. All right, guys. Appreciate everybody for being here. On time, ready to go for another weekly market outlook. I got my co-host here, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Brent Badal. How you feeling, bro?
Yo, feeling blessed. Feeling we're gonna have another abundant week as it was last week. So hey, I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy that you guys are here. So it's exciting as always.
Let's go. All right, guys. So you know the drill. We will be breaking down several markets here, prepping everybody for the week as far as what we see on the charts. Just making sure mindset wise we are engaged, active, locked in to take advantage of what is the last couple of days of February. Crazy to think we're already heading into March. Time flies, bro. Got a lot of exciting announcements soon that we will be giving to you guys. But make sure the main priority, guys, we want to hit our goal of 300 on the live so we can do our funded challenge giveaway. So we are very excited to be able to help you guys get more capital. We just got to make sure we promote heavy, get everybody on this link here as we get things going. As soon as we hit a peak of 300 at one time, we will officially be giving away the challenge account. And we'll give you guys some instructions on that. So again, get to your teams, whether you're in a Akashex, not in a Akashex, whatever the case is, you guys can absolutely share this live link and just flood it up. And as soon as we get 300, we'll do the challenge giveaway. But regardless, for those who are on here, the main most valuable thing here, guys, is just getting insight from really experienced traders about how we can dominate this week in the markets. So with that said, I want to definitely dive straight into it. As you guys may know, Brent is our analyst here for what is the fundamentals here. So he will be putting up his weather radar and giving you guys the scoop on what's up in the market. So Brent, bro, thank you so much again for always sacrificing time on the weekends here, bro, to be with us. We would not be able to do what we do without you, man. So take it away, bro.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. Obviously, it's a pleasure. Blessed to be here to do so. And yes, we're going to talk a little bit about the weather. We're going to see how many pips are going to shower over us, right, this week with the news. So, yeah, as you guys know, I love news. A reminder for those that are new, and even a reminder for those that have been here for a while. Remember that we don't fall for the smoke of the news, especially right now. We've been having a lot of news involving, for example, President Trump speaking and giving out news, and we've been seeing a lot of tariffs and this and that. That could be good for the dollar, bad for the dollar. So don't immediately go with the fake out, right? Of, oh, this news came out. This is really good for the dollar. We're selling. This is really good. They're buying. Just don't go for that. Just understand that we look at this news to understand what's going on globally and to know what kind of that next move is. And when we talk about what type of news it is, we talk about what we have to do with that, know how to trade it. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about news, obviously. So today, nothing really to worry about. Very rarely we have anything on a Sunday. Really, if anybody speaks, is we might see something, right? Trump may speak. We might have somebody like an FOMC speak or anything like that on a Sunday, but rarely happens. So right now we are chill, we're good. And the news I'm going to speak about is all related towards NAS 100. As you know, you guys have named us the NAS Bros. It's not something that we did. So you guys have named us the NAS Bros. So we talk about NAS 100. If you're on futures and QH, it's the same thing, right? Little bit of gold because it's very popular, but the majority of what we do is going to be NAS. So this will be related to NAS, which at the same time, it'll relate towards gold, okay? I say that because, for example, right now is a thing called a JPY. We're not focusing on that. Doesn't matter. We don't trade JPY here. Now, tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're having a chill day. It's good. I don't really trade Mondays much. I don't see a lot of volume coming out unless something big happens. I know there's a lot of NVIDIA speaks and this and that, a lot of stuff with XRP coming out. So you might see some movement in one of those 100 companies that involve tech this week to where you could see sporadic movements. But as far as scheduled news, we have nothing tomorrow. So we're chill tomorrow, Monday. Tuesday, we come into news. So the first set of news that we have is going to happen at 8. Now, this S&P is important to see because yes, it's S&P, it's not NAS, but this is important to see those levels of indices in itself where it's going towards more in the long run. So if you're a swing trader, this is important news for you. And if it's something that you have your own not savings, but your own investments at that part, like mutual funds, things of that nature, VOO, things like that that involve indices, you want to look at this news for that purpose, nothing really to trade. The cool thing is that it happens at 8 p.m., 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. As we know, 7:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, we see a little bit of a spike. A lot of people call it the golden hour. This and that, like we start seeing that movement happen. 8:30 a.m. we have the opening bell, which is something that I trade Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then you catch Rich right after me live as well. So we're still in that same New York zone, right? So perfect time for this to happen because we're still getting some volume in for even a stronger move for the opening bell. So I'm excited for this to happen at that time. 9 a.m. we have the consumer confidence. This was important, guys, especially with everything going on right now in politics related to it. So obviously we don't touch politics here or anything like that. We respect whatever you want to go for it, but it's more of understanding, right? So it's important right now with consumer confidence where everybody's a little bit more confident as a consumer spending or not with everything going on. And the forecast is looking supposed to be better. So this should be good news. It should give us a big movement. That's why it's red. Right after that, we have Richmond manufacturing at the same time. Then we have a couple of FOMC speakers, nothing really to worry about. But what I like more than anything about Tuesday is in that 7:30 to like 10 a.m., 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. window that we have where the market is very volatile for NAS and for gold. We have good news happening at that time. And it's nothing specific to where it's like, CPI, where immediately it moves, right? So this should give us a lot of back and forth movement, a lot of good opportunities to come in. As a scalper, I love it when we have this type of news because we get those moves. We get those consistent multiple moves that we can get in over and over again. So this is what I like a lot for Tuesday. Now, Wednesday, we start going into new home sales. So Wednesday is very important as far as what relates to numbers. Nothing again that we're trading, but more of something big like when you're looking at recession, right? Like it's one of those indicators for new home sales. For home sales in itself, there's specific stocks that you look at, like the McDonald's stock is a huge indicator, which is crazy, but the McDonald's stock is literally an indicator for recession. But new home sales is important to see for that. So I'm really liking that we have new home sales this week. And the numbers are looking great as well. So that happens at 9. We have crude oil inventory. So oil has been something that's been spiking up this year, something that I know at the beginning of the year, we mentioned at one of the Sunday market outlooks, and I was really interested in seeing what oil is going to do this year. Oil is really popular on the future side of things as well. So oil is really interesting, something that obviously Rich and I, we always like to look for something that we could bring more to the table, right? We like to make sure we have a nice set of we have NAS, a little bit of gold, we have a little bit of tap to trade, then we send out a couple of stock stuff, a couple of crypto stuff. We always like to diversify. So seeing something new come in to where there might be a possibility of us trading it heavily is exciting. So I've been looking at that. And that's why we've been seeing oil actually continue to be an orange to red folder. Exciting for that. And that's pretty much it for the day. Good time for that to happen as well. Thursday, I think is kind of one of the bigger days, to be honest. So Thursday, 7:30 a.m., as I mentioned, great time, right? 7:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Prelim GDP, unemployment claims, core durable orders, prelim JDD index. Ton of heavy news, and this news is very different in itself. So this is going to be a lot of movement here, guys. Lots of movement, and it's kind of contradictory at that point, right? So we might see a big move down, then big move up immediately, kind of those big full retrace candles. I love those full retrace candles, especially how Rich and I trade. It's like I might call the sell, hits TPs, Rich calls the buy, hits TPs, call another sell because we got those big movements, right? Those big 1,000 pip movements back and forth in the matter of the hour. So this could happen really on Thursday. I could see that happening, right? Or we could have just a big one channel, just complete bearish, bullish channel going running for the whole morning, which that's great as well. But we have that at 7:30, 9 a.m. pending home sales. Again, going back to back with new home sales the day before. That is great. Looks like it's going to give really good numbers as well for that. Then we go into Couple of FOMC speakers, nothing really crazy. So again, we're having a good news moment in New York. That's the biggest thing that Rich and I like because that's what we trade the majority. So we like having these big movements during this time and not something at a weird time. 7:30, 8:30, 9. These are great times to have this news. Closing out the week Friday. I don't trade much Fridays, as you know, but closing out Friday, we have some good news as well. We have core PCE, good trades, personal income, personal spending. Mentioned this before, don't always fall for the color of the candle. So like this one, color of the folder, sorry, color of the folder. Personal income and personal spending is huge. It's something we really need to pay attention to. Yes, the numbers aren't that big. Yes, the movement, like we'll see a big move candle because of the core PCE, but we really need to look at these numbers. Why? Again, we're looking at the actual consumption of goods, services, recession, all this good stuff that we're looking into is going to tell us, right? It's a telltale situation of what the future could look like, what next week could look like. So it's not something that we're immediately wanting to trade, but we want to pay attention to this. Closing out, we have cool Chicago PMI, another good set of news, 8:45. This one on Friday, again, I don't trade much Fridays anyways, but this is going to be interesting because 8:30 opening bell, we might have nothing happen, and then it happens at 8:45. Or we might have everything happen at 8:30 and nothing happening at 45. So it's one of those weird ones. Again, that's why it's so important to look at the times. If Chicago PMI was happening at 7:30 as well, was happening at 9, I would have liked it better. But I'm really not. So most likely if I do run another bonus session, I kind of wanted to run it prior. I don't think tomorrow, but I know a lot of people have asked for me to do a video like a session like I did last Friday where we did a little bit more training. So last Friday we spoke about RRs. This time I've been seeing a lot of people have interest on how to take trade alerts following RST, following the trading plan that Rich and I made. But for the trade alerts, there's been a lot of confusion there, and confused minds do nothing. So most likely I'll really want to do that call maybe tomorrow. I don't know 100% yet. Just pay attention to the chats, guys. If not, I'll probably do a Friday. Just keep an eye there. I will do another session like that, more educative for you guys on the trade alert side of things. So I'm just confirming that with you because in the chats, you guys asked for it a lot. So just giving that little drop there at that point. So we might have a session Friday. It won't be for trading. It'll be for that. We shall see. But that is it for the week for news. Pass it back to Rich so you can go ahead and start off with the NAS chart and then we'll tackle it together, bro.
All right, sounds good, man. Appreciate you, bro, for breaking that down for us. We've been seeing a lot of red folder days like back to back, so to have pretty clear days until Thursday is interesting. We'll see how that ends up playing out for sure. Now obviously we actually saw a historical Friday as far as 2025 goes so far. We had a very massive sell-off on NAS. And heading into the new week, I say this all the time, man. When it comes to NAS, it doesn't like to stay down very long. The fact that we had a sell-off is not ultimately super surprising, only because whenever we actually breach all-time high territory is when we have a lot of FOMO, a lot of people that try to chase price, get into an investment. And then also just people profit taking ultimately, right? There was a lot of, kind of back and forth in the grand scheme of things over the last, I'd say, month and a half, mid-December to the new year. We saw a lot of ranging going on with NAS. But ultimately, if people were buying at these like 20,800 levels, that really held strong and kind of, took us again to all-time high territory where a lot of people took profits. And, whenever we have, people try to chase price and also at a point where people may have been taking profits from down here, you're going to have, aggressive sell-off potential. As far as trade alerts went for last week, it was like a break-even week for me. I don't know, things were just weird, man. And no matter how many good opportunities we may see with a strategy or with any asset class that you focus on, personally, like your mind has to be in alignment with what's going on in the picture. And even with all the experience that I have, there's just weeks where I'm just not seeing it. And so, heading into this next week, I think for me, the clearest thing is just where are all the imbalances? Where are the fair value gaps? What is price looking to do? And so if we look at all the times that NAS has had really strong sell-offs, historically, but even more recently, we see that we typically follow that up with some nice slower recoveries. So the fact that we're having this little sell-off, we're gonna see how the market opens, of course, in the next several hours. But overall, I'd expect that same type of behavior of us kind of like creeping back up to recover a massive sell-off, just because NAS has shown us over and over and over that it's how it behaves, right? So getting to know your asset class and the tendencies that it has historically kind of help you develop your bias. I'm really just looking at areas of supply and demand that we can kind of play off of. And, we saw this very clean one here that price reacted off of a while ago on a different time frame, higher time frames like the 4 hour. We're really like digging already into this last wick that kind of tapped into the prior demand area. So again, we got to really see how price opens up, in about what, 3 hours, as far as indices goes. So the market will open at about 2 if you guys trade Forex, gold, things of that nature. But for indices, it's an hour later. So in about 3 hours and change, yeah, but a little bit like 3 hours, we'll see. We've seen the last couple Sundays that the market has gapped pretty aggressively as we opened, just because we've had like some pretty crazy Fridays as of late. So again, we got to kind of see, what price decides to do. If we start to just completely crash through all these prior demand areas, then that's going to be interesting to say the least. But I think overall, at least for the mid to short term, I'd be banking on, for me, most comfortably to just kind of sit within this 21,600 to 21,400 area here and just wait for price to really start showing us the willingness to shift structure to more of a bullish market structure and just kind of ride that up. For sure, back to 21,800, that's easy. The ultimate like targets that I would have would be back up into about 22,100, somewhere in that ballpark, because that's where we had that initial first candle that really started the meltdown, right? And that's where we have basically the most extreme, like the most extreme point with the fair value gaps that were created during that massive sell-off. So again, this is like my main target area is 22,050 to about 22,100. Again, this is that last sell-off point where we just started that massive momentum to the downside. So to return here would be my primary target once we get that structure shift. So me personally, I'm not somebody that likes to get into selling a market that has already dropped, I mean, thousands and thousands of pips the day prior. So again, I'm willing to, even if it wants to keep going a little bit more, just really let it exhaust itself, start seeing that initial shift of structure and some more continuations to that side to really, pair it with my strategy to eventually take it up to this area. I think I'm very confident in that personally, so we'll see how it plays out. But that's how I see NAS for the week overall. I'll let Brent share his piece on that now too.
Yeah, bro. So Friday, let's talk about Friday. I didn't want to remember Friday, but we'll talk about Friday here. So Friday, guys, when the market opened back last Sunday when we were here, right? Last Sunday market outlook call, we were here. We both had mentioned, hey guys, if we break above, we're going, and if not, it stays, we're going down. And I said, hey, it's going to be important. Our target, which we were waiting for 3 weeks to hit, that 22,200, it needs to level off that. It needs to level off that as a point of interest, a point of control. So it did level out a point of control because you could see here where it's constantly going up, down, up, down. It's not fully breaking. It's not fully going up, up. It's just leveling, hovering around that. That's what makes it that point of control. Here in a live session, we called the sell right at the top, go and drop beautifully. We caught that on Thursday. That was an amazing live trade sell that we were able to get. Huge profits there. It was overall 1,300 pips. Amazing. Started going up, great, and it started playing each time into those three levels. Because when I said last week, points of interest that I have, if it breaks that 22,100, it'll go down to that 22,050. Then it'll go down to that 22, and then it'll just from there it'll die. And it was doing that, right? It broke it, leveled off it, it bounced off each time. That's why it's important. Like when we say a floor could be a ceiling could be a floor. That's where we could look at a support turning into a resistance support. That's why I like a little bit more when we speak about supply demand versus support and resistance. But If you guys don't know any of that, and I'm speaking a total different language, don't worry about it. You will learn that, right? So with that said, we kept on seeing those areas being respected. Now Friday, Friday. So Friday, I ended up calling 2 sales. Both of those times, I was literally wicked out, and then it freaking tanked all the way from 22, 200, pretty much 22, 185, all the way down. I mean, we're talking about a whole 1,000+ pips dropped. Thankfully, the day ones, the if you know ones, know already the strategy, you know what you're doing, and you're able to re-enter, get in there. I was able to do the same, so I think recovered. Many people did as well, so I'm super happy to see that. I've said this before. It makes me happier sometimes when we hit a stop loss, but then I see a bunch of messages of like, hey, I paused, I checked the chart one more time. I understood what you've taught us before. I understand Liberty. I understand your strategy, Brent, as well on your sessions. Combine both of those strategies together, saw the chart, and I re-entered. And look, I took 100 loss and I just made 500, 600. Like that excites me so much, sometimes even more, versus, hey, you send it, I copied, paste, I won. Like, because now I know that you guys are paying attention, you are growing. That's what matters the most. So a ton of people were able to take that huge opportunity there, recover that on that immense drop. So with that said, the Bears obviously won. I still love the Bears 100%. Still gonna have rep the Bears all day, even after we hit the stop losses. We're good. Now, what I'm thinking we could see here is the biggest areas of point of control, which turned into, right, which is our prior bull week target for the last 3 weeks. I think we're going to go down now to the bear one, because this was a very important area as well. That 2,800 was a super important area. Will it go just straight down? No, I don't think so. It should creep up a little bit, do what it has to do. Most likely, we'll probably see this maybe drop into this 22,500-ish area, 22,350, maybe. If not, it'll probably just consolidate and actually go up first. I think it's very important for it to reach that previous day's low where we broke that structure in this full drop on Friday. We need to come back for this candle. Remember, guys, in my understanding the market video, I explained there's candles that don't make sense. These candles right here make no sense. So these candles here need to be taken care of first. Maybe even retest one more time that big drop before we had it. Maybe we do a little fake out. And the reason why I say we could see a little push up in the first few days, maybe, is because of Nvidia. So Nvidia, we have Nvidia earnings coming out on the 26th. They're all looking good, just like they were looking last time. Website that Luisito showed me, Seeking Alpha, this breaks down a bunch of the news too. That's pretty cool and tells you a lot more in depth as far as like why, or you could just Google obviously, and it just shows you your year to date on like revenue, net income, all that good stuff. It breaks all that down for you. And there's even some news, but obviously just make sure you research where it's coming from at that point, so you don't fall into any like fake websites or he say, she say situations. That's why I like Seeking Alpha. No sponsorships or anything like that. Yeah, maybe Seeking Alpha, give us a call, give Rich and I a call. But as of now, we like using this website, like I said, because Luisito gave it to told us about this one, where you get a lot of breaking, right? Like strong sell, and it tells you why, it breaks down the news of where it's coming from. So it's cool. Now, last time with Nvidia, I know Rich, you called a sell last time on Nvidia, and it just tanked. It was crazy. The numbers were great last time. So if we see that happen again, and that's where it's important, don't fall for the news. If you think about it, well, Nvidia's doing good numbers should go up, but it tanks, right? It does that. It's just a situation that it does. It's institution versus retail, right? We're talking about smart money there. So I see a possibility of this creeping up, staying in this kind of area. So when Nvidia hits on the 26th, we come all the way back down and hit at least this 2,800. Would be interesting to see that number one more time, just because of everything that we have back here. That's really where this area started off, right? We started off here, came down, never took care of it, and then we've been going up ever since. Even with the drop, we still have not touched this zone here. So that's why I could see it interesting as far as taking care of this liquidity, take care of this money that's trapped here, maybe even this money that's trapped right here, even at this lowest right here. Lower than that, I don't really think so. There's no reason why it should drop even lower than that. But like I said before, with news is just an excuse, guys. The markets already know, like, hey, they chilled out months ago, guys, and they said, hey, I know by this day, we need the market to be here. Okay, cool. All right. Well, normally it would take 3 days for us to go from here to here. Oh, Nvidia, bet 2 seconds. That's what just news is, guys. Like that's how you have to look at news at that point. You can't fall in love with what's being said and this and that. You can't fall in love with the trade, nothing. You have to just make sure you're looking at the candles. The candles never lie, and just understand that news we need to take advantage of. So Nvidia on the 26th could be one of those situations that we need to take advantage, like we did last time, and say, okay, cool. The market is here. It makes sense to go here. All the candles are telling us that, well, this is an opportunity for us to go here to here in the matter of 1 to 3 minutes versus a week. So let's pay attention for sure on that. I'll be paying attention to that. I'm sure Richie will as well for the 26th on NVIDIA to see what we could do. Hopefully we could pop another NVIDIA trade here and get that to the community. Take a nice little trade, hit some TP3s, 4s in the matter of 60 to 90 seconds. That's always fun when we see that. But that's an ask. I know for gold, we're not touching it. I know the community has asked for a while, guys. I mean, really, to me, there's not much to say, guys. Like, this went up, called this out, drop, cool, went down, change of structure, stuck, went up, went down, change of structure, stuck, went up, down, stuck, down, up, stuck, down, up. I'll leave that to the other educators that love to do gold. Obviously, we've had great news. Shout out to Abid, shout out to Joel. They've been crashing it with the top the trades beautifully with gold. So let them do what they have to do on the gold side of things. If I see a gold opportunity, I will send it. But really, with the news that's happening, everything that's going on, the last thing that has my attention right now is gold. I'm super excited this week for NAS, especially because of NVIDIA and the news that we're having related to it. I'm more excited for that than this. And really gold is just still trending up, guys. It's still in that bull, which that's not really for me. It's not my fun zone. I like selling. Gold should start shifting more into the bearish now February ends. Gold likes to run in seasons. That December to February likes to be bullish. And then from there, it goes back into the bearish momentum a little bit and has its play of the bears versus the bulls fight again. But for the last 2 months, it's all been bulls 100%. So I'll leave it at that. I don't know if you want to share anything on gold, bro, but that's really all. I want to just, because again, the messages have been there. So I wanted to just drop at least a little nugget and explain why, like, I'm not even like interested right now on gold and why I'm so interested on NAS just to show you guys versus just saying it.
Yeah, for sure. We talked about it last week, so I figured I'd just kind of follow up on the last conversation that we had. So, obviously, if you guys are frequent, like if you guys return every Sunday, you'll kind of see how things ended up playing out and whatnot. For me, like I look at gold from more of a long-term perspective, like swing trading and everything, because again, I'm not actively like day trading it how we are with NAS, but I mentioned to you guys the way we ended last Sunday. So this was Sunday, right? How we were basically in this area where this was that last demand wick right here that was created. We had mentioned that gold hadn't really made a new high in the market yet, but being the fact that it had sold off for so long and we were tapping into this demand area, I was saying that basically if we saw a shift of structures to the upside, then we could target this high. It basically did do that. So from last Sunday, we had I already have these markups and I don't touch them all week, right? Like this was the one area that I'm like, I would only if I were to do anything all week with gold would be buy here, target here, and stop. And that's not really many people's style because we're so used to catching 30 pips, 60 pips, 100 pips in and out, whatever. But if I were to even touch gold, it would be more from like a swing trading perspective where, I'd be looking at the overall uptrend. I've been talking about 3,000 as an inevitable target just from a psychological whole number perspective that should be hit. And obviously, as like, the trend and the technicals are aligned with that, then it just gives more reinforcement. So again, from a higher time frame perspective, I just always look at, okay, overall gold has obviously been uptrending for a long time. We saw that we had last Friday, gold kind of continued to go down all week. And then on Friday, we spiked down, ended up closing up. So tapping into this area right on Friday, heading into Sunday, the target would be here. Basically, again, continuing that higher time frame narrative of just creating new higher highs. So yeah, just following up from last time we spoke, if you guys go back to the last Sunday market outlook when we talked about gold, we talked about us holding this general area, right? Targeting this new high. And so since that's been done, that's now, achieved. Looking at things from a 4-hour daily, Yeah, there's nothing really clean like how I saw last week. Just kind of scanning through different time frames here. Yeah, there's no like significant areas that really stand out to me. Um, yeah. Yeah, like last week it was a lot cleaner. Right now, we just kind of seen this little head and shoulders action that we got going here after taking these highs. So in general, we might see, depending, I don't know, it just depends. Price may want to come down a little bit, but overall, what I would be actually looking for is all these little lows that we got here. If we see price kind of, retrace this entire move. So from a swing trading perspective, I'd look at it as, okay, we have this major low here. We have this major high here. Okay. Typically, if I want to trend trade and swing trade, I'd be looking for retracements at least under 50% to about 78%. So I wouldn't touch anything personally. Again, we have so many educators that this is their bread and butter, so just defer to them for sure. But overall, just so you guys can understand, market structure and these concepts, right? We did break and close above these previous highs very aggressively. So overall, the trend is still bullish. So if that's the case, I don't really like to buy high. I'd rather see gold kind of start the week off with a nice sell-off. And once we're below 50 to 78%, somewhere in this general vicinity, you'd want to see price kind of like liquidity grab and then shift structure, kind of like how we saw in this situation, right? Prior week where we saw price, going down, it has one more push and then it starts shifting structure. That type of action is what I'd want to see here. So again, anything below like a 50% retracement, basically below 2915 to 2900, somewhere in that vicinity. If we start seeing price dip into that and then shifting back bullish, then that's a nice little buy area again to target new highs at 2960 and just continue that overall narrative of getting to 3000. So this is like what I would look for. Again, guys, prioritize and defer to the educators that completely are focused on gold, because there's just something like how you see us with Nas, how when you continuously like zone in on one asset over and over, you're gonna be able to have better results, right? Because you're consistently having a pulse on that asset. So I'll mark this up, right? And I'm gonna start doing this. We're gonna start revisiting this every single week as like a swing trading perspective for the week on gold. And then we'll kind of go back to it and see how true these things hold. So yeah, this is what I'm gonna leave right here, and I'm not even gonna touch that all week right there. So that's gold. Jumping straight into cryptos, and then Brent, are you gonna talk a little bit about cryptos or not really?
No, just the same thing. Let's just keep an eye on XLM. It's still hovering
Okay.
in that 33 cent zone. It's been respecting that. So I'm still waiting. I still want to see that 18 to 20 cents. So I'm still gonna wait on it. Again,
Okay.
still at a bad zone to get in now. But that's
Yeah.
pretty much it there on the XLM side of things. ADA did another jump. So if you're still holding that 33 cents from way back then, we're still almost tripled right now anyway. So we're still good there. It left another good zone to kind of buy right now. Like they're both kind of picturing that they don't want to come down, but I still think they need to. So I'm just holding there on those two. I'm still paying attention to those. Again, exciting one for me is XLM. And I know when XLM and ADA does that move, most likely XRP has to do that for you as well, and we'll all be in the green at that point. So nothing new.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you guys have seen our repertoire on these calls when it comes to crypto has been definitely like a more investor long-term perspective. Bitcoin still like it's been struggling. Like you've been seeing Bitcoin, and as long as Bitcoin continues to range like this, you're gonna see the whole crypto market kind of be at a standstill for the most part, unless it's like you're zoning in on one very particular project, especially like meme coins and stuff like that. You're always gonna get its own ecosystem of volatility and stuff like that. But overall for like the main altcoins and everything, as long as Bitcoin ranges like this, it's still gonna be a liquidity buildup type of area, right? I mean, we're literally building up a lot of impatience, right? Now, a lot of people are going to see this as like a very strong support area. That's why we've seen a lot of retail like continuously buying Bitcoin at that 93 to 95K range, which is fine, like it makes sense to do that. But at some point, I feel like once we start to really, again, from a daily, like a daily candle, okay? daily candle, not really anything less than that. But if we get a daily candle breaking close below 90, because if you see this over and over on the daily, we've only wicked and wicked and wicked many times, but we have no candle closures below 90. The minute that we get a daily candle closure below 90 right there, I would expect a major, like maybe one more push up and then just a major dump off into the 70s. So that's gonna happen. It's just a matter of we need that very clear signal. Now, I'm not day trading Bitcoin. So for those that get on here, like if you do day trade Bitcoin or whatever, like this is a higher time frame signal that once we get that breaking close on the daily below 90, it should be a very strong indication that it's actually ready to just have a massive meltdown into the 70s because it's just something that has to happen. It'll be painted as a very negative thing in the news when it happens, of course, because you're talking about it going from 110 almost to 75. That's like a $40,000 price difference. But really, it's not a big sell-off. If you start to realize the way that the ebbs and flows of crypto go, especially with something like Bitcoin, we've seen it time and time again where we go from 4 to 20 back to 4 and then from 4 to 70 to 30 and then 65 or 70 all the way to 15. Like 75 to 15, guys, is such a massive retracement number that it's just part of the way it goes. So to really go from 110 to 75, I don't even think that's not even like a half sell-off. That's not even a 50% retracement. So historically, that's not even what Bitcoin has done in the past. That's actually less than what Bitcoin typically does. So all I'm saying is for those that long term, like for the next 5, 10 plus years are hodling Bitcoin or whatever, like you can't really be scared about that. However, I personally don't. I don't know. I feel like at least some of your investment, like if you're not cashing out at the 110s and stuff like that, it's because you really are that person that's just gonna hold for probably a decade plus. That's just gonna wait for this thing to go to a quarter million, half a million, whatever, right? We have our different groups of crypto enthusiasts that have their beliefs or whatever, but typically, like, whenever even my family and stuff like that, I've helped them get into Bitcoin like at 11, 12. When it hit 60 something, I'm like, you guys got to cash out, man. Because then we have that crypto winter that lasts a year or two. And you're like, you didn't see the money. You know what I'm saying? And unless you guys have like generational wealth dumped into Bitcoin right now, like multiple six figures plus, it just for me doesn't make sense to like be a couple $1,000s in profit and then see all that kind of retrace and wait 2 years just to make like $2,000 again. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. That's just my approach. I'll let Brent give his thoughts, but if you're not playing with like serious, crazy, life-changing capital into these positions, I don't see why we don't cash out at the 100,000 plus levels, let it come back into the 70s and then reinvest. Personally, I still think we have the potential to get below 50. And once we're below anything 50, it's like I would definitely be a little bit more aggressive long term. But will we ever get to 50? I don't know. I don't control Bitcoin, but from a technical standpoint, definitely the 80 to 70 range is just inevitable. Just from understanding key levels, fair value gaps, all those, other concepts that we use in NAS, gold, and everything, they play true in the crypto market as well. So yeah, I mean, this is the play. Again, you guys already kind of know it hasn't really changed from the last time we talked about it, because again, we've just been ranging here. But yeah, so once we get that massive retracement into the 70s, expect all the altcoins to basically suffer. Which it just depends your perspective. If you're holding and you're seeing your portfolio go down, then it's suffering. If you're not in any positions and you're sitting cash right now, that's opportunity. So just, keep that clear and prepare yourselves, because I think it's just a matter of time. But yeah, I'll let Brent give his final thoughts as far as like gold, cryptos, all that stuff, and then we've pretty much touched on the main stuff already.
Yeah, for sure, bro. Obviously, good info that you've shared everything there. And I mean, that's the biggest key, bro. Like I see, you can't fall in love. And I've said that multiple times. We love trading, but we can't fall in love with a trade particularly or with a coin in particular. So like for me, like when I called ADA back then, right? We 6, 7x that. We made our profits. If it comes back down to 17, 18 cents, great. And guess what? If it doesn't and it just leaves from here, so what? Like, cool. That's the biggest thing. Like, you don't want to go ahead, and that's what I see a lot in the crypto, and I've always said that, right? I've always thrown some light shade to the crypto community when it comes to that, right? Like, why are you dumping? Oh, you have $1,000. Why are you dumping $1,000 in Bitcoin? Why? Like, I get it, you love it, but why are you not diversifying? That's the biggest key. And as a scalper, I say this all the time. Yes, I could buy here at one lot and wait till it goes here and get out, or I could buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell at 0.10 a bunch of times. It's more, I feel like I give myself more opportunities to make more that way versus just the other way to it. And when you're diversifying, that's the biggest key to it. I mean, we have prop firms. Shout out to TradeX, shout out to Take Profit, shout out to Trident as well for when you're doing your self-funding, your compounding. You have multiple different ones. There's not a financial advisor, but there's different exchange wallets too that they'll tell you, hey, put so much into this. What is it? I think Coinbase does what on USDC or T, whatever. They give like zero, like give like what 4 point something percent APR. Like, dude, like it's just the fact of putting money in different places. That's the biggest thing. Yes, like Rich said, if you have like you tripped and you stumbled and you found yourself $1 million and you're like, okay, well, what do I do with this? Like, I live my life, everything's paid for, and I'm good. Like, well, now what? Yeah, now we're talking a little bit different. That's a different conversation there. That's a total different conversation, but you need to make sure again that you're diversifying. That's the biggest key. And don't fall in love, especially with the crypto situation. Like, yes, gold, I get it. You can go ahead and buy gold and come back in a year 9 out of 10, it's going to be up and you're going to be in profits. But how much? That's the thing. That whole year, you could have bought, sell, bought, sell, bought, sell, compounded it, grown it, made withdrawals to when it gets there to that point. So that's really what we're getting into, guys. We're giving you a ton of sauce at that point with a bunch of different assets to be able to do. Peloton, shout out Rich calling Peloton. I mean, we've even called it a stock. I could say that Sunday market analysts, we have called out stocks. It wasn't me, it was Rich, but I could say, hey, we, right? Like even stock plays have been called here. So it's been just multiple different opportunities that have been provided to where you do not want to fall into one and put all your eggs in one basket. That's just the biggest thing to it. Make sure, guys, that you are playing correctly your cards. Obviously, as always, don't risk what you can't afford to lose. And that's going to be the biggest thing, right? You put all your money into Bitcoin at 100 and you're like, it has to moon and it's dropping and you're freaking out and losing your mind, probably you put a little bit more. That's the thing. Like, I know if I want to buy ADA right now and I buy ADA right now and it drops to 18, 20 cents, it drops to 0 cents, I'll be like, damn, that sucks. Then I'll walk away because I'm not going to put my life savings into it. And at that same time as ADA would be dying, we would be doing all this other stuff that would be growing. So it's all good. It's all good. That's just the biggest thing, guys. So make sure you have the right mindset, obviously, with that. See you guys tomorrow on my YouTube channel for the Monday Mindset calls, same time as today, so 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'll see you there for the Mindset Monday calls. You guys need that for sure, 100% in trading. And tap into our live sessions, of course. Rich is live Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in English, just like I am. So I'm live 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. Rich is live immediately right after 9 a.m. And then you are live in Spanish Monday at what time? Same time? I think it was,
Yep, same time, 10 a.m. Eastern.
yeah, so same time, 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern. You'll catch Rich in Espanol. I will most likely begin my Spanish sessions next month, guys. I know everybody's been hitting me up on that. And then Rich stirred the pot there. He threw fire to the flame to where now he's doing it in Spanish and everybody's asking me too. So most likely, guys, next month I'll do it in Spanish too. I'll bring one session a week in Spanish as well, guys. But yeah, we have a ton of other stuff. What else do you got, Rich? Obviously, the indicator. How's that been running? You could talk to everybody about your indicator.
Yeah, so I haven't really followed up with Lewis in the last couple of days over the weekend. So for those who've been tapping into the sessions, you probably already know for sure. But if you don't, I have the Liberty indicator already created. It's just not made public technically. So the minute that, well, from last I checked, okay, so I gotta double check again today to see if it's finally gone public. It needs approval from TradingView admins or whatever the case is. But that just kind of makes everybody's life easier from a launching the business perspective to make sure everybody can just look up Liberty, boom, get the indicator, you know how to use it based off the strategy, and we keep it pushing. Until then, we just got to use the alternatives that we've always used until this point, anyways. So that's the update for that. But yeah, the most important thing is just staying in the loop, right? Tapping into the live sessions, whether you watch them in real time or if you watch the recordings. Because even when I was a student, guys, like I couldn't really tap into all the sessions when I was working a 9 to 5. So, I know what it's like, but if you can watch the replays, you're always going to get great insight. Obviously, with Brent, he's live trading, so you're going to want to prioritize getting on those live sessions immediately to, be able to take positions with Brent. But in general, anyways, even if you don't, I think it's still valuable to get on there and just see how the live sessions go, just so you can see more so like how Brent's demeanor is and his energy and what he looks for and whatnot. I think anytime you get to observe somebody operating in the markets, like it's just gonna teach you a lot of the little things that I think go a long way. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. We're about 45 minutes in. We usually run these for an hour, but I think the MO is pretty simple. So I think we can go ahead and wrap this up here. But we do appreciate all you guys, like 150 plus that were on here showing love. We thank you guys so much for no, it's not. So the indicator is like abbreviated like LBRTY. I just saw it from Valentin right there. Um Yeah. So yeah, guys, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up the live session here. As always, we do appreciate you guys for showing love in the chats and for tapping into everything that we do. If you guys are not in Akashex yet, please make sure that you guys, get started with whoever shared the platform with you. Obviously, if you guys have been following Brent and his YouTube, make sure you guys are subscribed to him. Then definitely reach out to him to get started. If you guys have been finding out about all of this through me, then obviously you can go ahead and get started with me. But if you found out about Akashex through, somebody that shared it with you, make sure you get with them, get plugged in, because this is just really a little bit of a taste of the type of value and information that we give, um, you know, for free. So imagine on the live sessions and in the community, right? But yeah, other than that, guys, make sure that you guys are taking advantage of our partners such as Trident Markets for personal account needs, TradexMastery for funded account needs. I don't think there's any current promotions right now.
I was about to say that too. I'm glad you mentioned that, bro.
Mhm.
Trident right now. So reach out to the person that invited you, of course, if you don't have a Trident account yet. If it was one of us, like Richard said, reach out to us so you can get your Trident link. So if you receive a Trident link from somebody that invites you to Trident, your first deposit, I believe it's just the first one, you get 70% bonus.
Yeah, that's
So
big. Yeah,
that's insane to see that on a self-funded account. That is ridiculous. And Trident is something good that if you're trading with one of us two, and really anybody else in the cash is right, but with one of us two, when we send our trade alerts, we take our live trades, we're going off of that because each one has their different liquidity provider, broker. So Tradex and Trident have the same one. So that way you know the numbers are going to match. You could connect it to tap the trade as well. So shout out to Trident. Make sure you reach out to them. That's 70%. For TradeX, I believe it's just a CashX 25 or TradeX 25. It's one of those two to get 25% off. Same thing, reach out to the person that invited you to us for the link. So that way you could get those bonuses. Those bonuses are amazing for sure, for sure. It's 100%. I know they were bringing it. Did they actually do 100%? I haven't checked my email. Yeah, so if they're doing 100%, you guys, you need to definitely secure that if that's something you guys are looking for right now, because it is just crazy and it's good again to diversify. Have a little bit here, have a little bit there. It's worth it, guys, for sure. So check that out.
for sure. All right, cool, man. So let's go ahead and run it up. Appreciate you guys. I will see y'all in the chats and on the live sessions throughout the week. Brent, thank you again, bro, for taking your time to be here and giving us your insights for the week. So with that said, guys, see y'all in Akashex. And if you guys are not in the private mentorship yet, then we'll see you next Sunday for our next Sunday market outlook. We will keep the goal the same. The minute we hit 300, we will definitely give away the funded challenge account. So you guys know from now, all we got to really do is just be on and bring one person. If you look at it that way, we'll easily hit 300 and do the giveaway. So you got 7 days to think about how you want to do that, right? But appreciate